We are in beautiful Austria riding the Brixton Storr 500, which is yet to be launched in India. It will be launched in a couple of months. We don't know the pricing of the motorcycle, but I'll give you a guesstimate towards the end of this video. As of now, let's just take a walk around of this motorcycle and I'm going to tell you all the details of this motorcycle. So I've ridden this motorcycle for about 2-3 hours and I'm going to give you my first impressions as well towards the end of the video. So stick around and make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon if you haven't done that already. So the Brixton Storr 500 is powered by a 486cc parallel twin liquid cooled engine which makes about 47 bhp of power, 43 Newton meters of torque, comes mated to a 6-speed gearbox. There is no quick shifter but there is an assist and slipper clutch, and both the clutch and brake levers, by the way, are fully adjustable. Now coming to the chassis components of the motorcycle, it rides on 19 17-inch wheels with and these are cross spoke wheels, by the way, which means you get tubeless tires, and these are Pirelli Rally Scorpion STR tires, which is actually a nice combination of on-road and off-road kind of tread pattern, as you can see. So this is quite a aggressive block pattern tire, but this is more inclined towards road performance, and you can do some bit of off-roading on this on these tires. But the best part I like about this is that it gets cross spoke wheels with tubeless tires, which means puncture repairs won't be that big of a hassle. Now in terms of suspension, you get USD forks at the front, you get monoshock at the rear, and these are sourced from KYB, and these are adjustable. You get compression and rebound adjustability at the front and similar kind of adjustability at the rear. As for the travel, it's 180mm at the front and 175mm at the rear, which means this won't be like a very flexible motorcycle to gun your way through off-road, but still this should be able to handle mild trails or some dirt riding, slight jumps and slides here and there. Now, as talking about the features, it gets a huge TFT screen which shows you ample information. It gets Bluetooth connectivity, and as you can see, the layout is quite fancy, and there's a button on the right side with the help of which you can actually turn off ABS for the rear wheel, and you can also turn off traction control with the help of that button. Now, as I said, this gets adjustable levers, you get a USB charging port over here, and the switch gear and everything feels quite tactile. And in terms of quality levels, this is a decently well-built motorcycle. The fit and finish is nice. I can't see any uneven panel gaps throughout the motorcycle. The usage of the kind of plastics they have used is also quite nice, not bad, nothing to complain about in that department. Now in terms of seating comfort and ergonomics, with an 839mm of seat height, this motorcycle might look a bit tall on paper, but let me tell you that at 5 feet 11 inches, it's very easy for me to hop on the motorcycle and flat foot. Even if you're shorter than me, it won't be really that big of an hassle, because at the center the motorcycle is quite narrow, so getting your feet on the ground is not that big of an issue. And once you're seated on the motorcycle, you realize that the seat is quite spacious, so even if you're on the heftier side, there will be ample space for you to move around. The cushioning is nice, which we found when we rode the motorcycle for a couple of hours. And in terms of overall riding triangle, you are sitting quite upright, and the riding stance is quite neutral. You have a wide handlebar within your easy reach, so you are not bending down or anything. So in terms of overall seating comfort, this is quite a touring oriented motorcycle and should be comfortable for even all day of riding. Now one thing I want to point out, that this motorcycle weighs 209 kg curb. So while the engine performance might sound impressive, in terms of power to weight ratio, this is not the best. And when you move the motorcycle, let's say if you'll be moving this motorcycle in a parking lot, or let's say in crawling traffic at very slow speeds, you are going to feel that weight. And similarly, off-road as well, you are going to feel the top heaviness of this motorcycle. The CG is not really low, which I figured out while riding the motorcycle at slow speeds. But once you are past speeds of, let's say, 10 kmph, that weight almost disappears, and the handling is quite decent. Now, let's listen to the exhaust sound of the motorcycle, because it's a pretty interesting sounding motorcycle. So what do you think of that exhaust note? Let me know in the comment section. Now this is a seemingly big fuel tank, and even in terms of capacity it's 16 liters, so overall riding range should be decent. And one interesting bit here is that these two cute little tank bags are standard. This won't be optional. This will come with the motorcycle, which actually gives you some level of storage space. Here you can maybe put your phone, and here you can maybe put your the papers of the motorcycle. Now moving on to the first riding impressions of the motorcycle, I want to start with the engine. Now this is an engine which will keep you entertained, but it won't blow your mind. Let's say the power comes in, the engine feels alive after 3500 RPM, and it really gets going after 5000 RPM. But across the rev range, there is no sudden surge of performance like you get in, let's say, KTMs or other kind of motorcycles. So this is not punchy, but the power is actually usable. So the mid-range is strong and it's tractable. You can do 45-50 kmph in 6th gear, which should be helpful in traffic. And even if you're doing 100 kmph where the rev counter sits at about 5000 RPM, there aren't much vibrations, and the pulling power or the acceleration from there is also quite strong, so overtaking won't be that big of an issue. The gearbox is slightly on the clunkier side. It's not very slick, but it feels reassuring, and it's not a very smooth gearbox, that's what I would say. The clutch is also on the heavier side, and in terms of handling, as I said in the initial part of the video, that it feels quite heavy at extremely slow speeds, but once you start taking on corners at slightly higher speeds, the motorcycle feels quite composed, and it actually sticks to your line, your intended line pretty well, doesn't keep weaving or wallowing around. These tires also give you decent amount of grip. I found that your upright to leaning transition is a little jerky, or it suddenly turns. So that is something you'll have to get used to. But once you realize that's the characteristic of the motorcycle, the grip and feel and feedback from these tires are actually pretty decent. Suspension travel, there is ample for, but not too impressive for an adventure tourer. But I realized that the suspension in at least stock setting feels a little on the stiffer side. It's a little unforgiving. But since it is adjustable, it gives you the flexibility to tailor the ride as per your liking. Braking performance, it's again decent. It's not extremely sharp. There is good amount of progression, but the bite comes in, but you have to put substantial amount of effort pulling in the lever. So it lacks lever feel to some extent, but there is a decent amount of stopping power at the front. The rear is more on the progressive side, which is how it should be to back the front brake up. Now, I've already told you that this is a comfortable motorcycle in terms of seating ergos, but this windscreen, which looks quite tall and usable, it actually does a slightly poor job of deflecting the wind away from you. You have a lot of wind coming from the sides of the windscreen, and even my helmet was buffeting a little. I'm 5 feet 11 inches. If you're shorter, maybe you'll get slightly better wind protection, but I tried tucking down and still it was not that great. But yeah, it's a decent windscreen in terms of functionality. Now, in terms of pricing, we are guessing this motorcycle will be over 5 lakh rupees because its siblings, the Roadster and the Scrambler, with the same engine, more or less on the same platform, they are priced at close to 5 lakh rupees ex-showroom. And this will be close to that because in some European markets, let's say Germany, the Scrambler, the 500XC and this motorcycle is priced exactly the same. And there are high chances that Brixton might price this a little higher and place it over the Scrambler 500XC. But pricing will be a big deciding factor whether this motorcycle will gain popularity and gather sales. And this will go up against the likes of the KTM 390 Adventure, although that will be a much more affordable motorcycle. Majorly, this will go up closely against the Honda NX 500. Now that's about it about the Brixton Storr 500. Let us know in the comments what do you think of the motorcycle. I'm Anuj, signing off for now.